there, and welcome back to Build with the Boys. It's time for our weekly catch-up, which is on time this time. Look, first off the bat, I apologise that the content has been fairly sparse since before yesterday. We did the Dizzy Dolls house yesterday, but before that, it's been over a week since we posted anything, which is unusual for us. The reason why is because we are dealing with a minor proverbial storm in the Building with the Boys HQ at the moment. We've had some terrible news here. Everything's okay, everyone's healthy, and it's nothing we can't deal with, but it's been rough. It's been a rough week, put it that way. But we rumble on, as we always do. Speaking of rumbling on, I had that for a tenuous link. Fanhome just continued with their aggressive marketing. So, I mean, only last week before, they announced the Infinity Gauntlet, and only 3 weeks before that, they announced they were doing Eleanor, the DeLorean, the Starship Enterprise, and Ecto-1. So that's 5 new builds that appeared on there. They've got those 4 that were outstanding from Eagle Moss, and they added the Gauntlet. It's like, Jesus, that's a lot for them to handle. Well, they decided to come out fighting again, and they have launched something I think a lot of people have been looking forward to in this one. So that is Optimus Prime. Movie Optimus Prime he's known as, or if you will, the Bayverse Optimus Prime, because from the Michael Bay movies. I like it. I actually prefer this one to Agora's. Sorry, Agora, but I do. I didn't when I first saw this one released. This went on trial in France about a year ago. It was not on trial. It wasn't guilty of anything. This was trialed in France last summer. And I was like, when I saw it, I thought, you know. And I was kind of thinking, man, I wish they'd done a Gen 1 Optimus Prime. I wish they'd done it like the original Optimus Prime. And then when Agora announced they were doing Optimus Prime, I assumed it was this one. I assumed it's the one you just looked at. Didn't realise that they had their own made. And it was Gen 1. And I saw it. And careful what you wish for. Because I wasn't overly impressed. Now, I've not seen that model up close and personal. So all I'm going on is the screenshots that I've seen. I'm sure that Agora will knock it out the park, and I'm sure it'll be a beautiful thing. But for me, I don't know. There's something lacking in it, and I don't know. I don't know. And also, I mean, that thing's supposed to be out in January. Now we're hearing it's not out till April. I don't know. But that's the Agora one. But this one that you've just seen is from Fanhome. Now, this, as I said, this was trialed in France last year, and I have seen the head working and it doing its bits and pieces and some of the build. And I really like it. I've got to be honest with you. I really like it. I actually prefer this one to the Agora one. I just do, because I think there's more going on with it. I think all of the parts that go together, there's just a lot more happening with him than is happening with the Agora model. Now, this is where it gets weird, and this is where I'm just fussy. I prefer Gen 1 Optimus Prime. That's my Optimus Prime. That's one I grew up with. I prefer the character of that one over this one. But as a model to build, I'd prefer to build the Bayverse one than the Agora one, because I just think there's more to it. I think there's a lot more going on, and I dig it. I think it looks really nice. I'm not going to build it, and the reason why is because I just don't have that affection for Transformers. I like Transformers, I do. I am a child of the 80s, and if you were my age growing up in the 80s, you owned Transformers. Whether you wanted to or not, you were getting bought Transformers. You were watching Transformers. We all went to see the movie. It's just inherent in our DNA as kids of the 80s. But it was never my big thing. It was never my everything. I was a Masters of the Universe kid. That was my thing. I was He-Man all the way. And then a little bit later on, I was all about Mask and so many different things, real Ghostbusters. So Transformers, it's I just don't have it. It's not in me to spend that much money on a Transformer. I couldn't get enthusiastic about it. I'd love to build that one, I would. But purely for the intricacies of it, not for the love of the character. I think the actual frame of him, I think, looks great. I think, can't promise you this, but I think it'll be a lot more detailed than Iron Man. I think just by seeing the kind of intricacies all over him, there's got to be more to do in him than there is in Iron Man. There has to be. So that could be a good thing. I think this could be an absolute peach. I do. I've got a feeling that this is going to be a very, very, very enjoyable model. But again, I don't have that love for it, so I couldn't get as enthusiastic as I'd like to about something. To be honest with you, if I'm going to devote the best part of 2 years to a project, it's got to be something I'm interested in. It's got to be something that grabs me. And I just don't have enough interest in that one, if that makes sense. I know Kev over at the Nexus will 100% be building this, and I believe Mark Mods is building this as well. So if you are not following them yet, do, because you will be able to see Optimus Prime. Mark Mods has confirmed it is 100% coming to his channel, and I know Kev's going to build this. He's a massive Transformers fan, so it just makes sense that they do this. So you will be able to see it. You'll be able to see it being built. You'll be able to... It's going to be a beaut. It's going to be a beaut. Now, that launches in June, but you can pre-order for it right now. So I will put the link in the description. So if you want to run on over to Fanhome and sign up to show your interest, you can. Watch the rest of this video first, though. You know, don't ditch me now. You've had the good bit. But Fanhome, again, have gone on a very, very aggressive marketing thing. And it's quite funny because they're just hitting us with models. And it's like, you like that? You want some more? You want some more? Well, I got some more. And now, bam, take this. So immediately following the launch of the Bayverse Optimus Prime for pre-order, they dropped that one as well. So you can collect the Fast and Furious cars in smaller scale. So these aren't models, these are collectible cars, but there is a ton of these in this collection. So you will get every single car that features in the Fast and Furious. Now, will I be getting them? No, because famously, I don't like the Fast and Furious. I can't stand the Fast and Furious movies. For me, they are Baywatch with cars. It's just not, it's not for me. I'm sorry, man. If you enjoy the Fast and Furious movies, okay, I don't. I just don't. And what's funny for me with the Fast and Furious movies is I've seen 3 of them. I've seen the first one, the second one, and I want to say the fourth one, whichever one, the one where they drop the "thes," when it just become Fast and Furious. That one, where Vin Diesel's career wasn't going so great, so he came back to the franchise. That one. Those are the ones I've seen. So what makes it funny for me, I've seen chunks of other ones. What makes it funny for me is, as you know, I go to the movies quite a lot. So when we see the trailers for the new Fast and Furious movie, I'm just bewildered. I'm bewildered because, like, as far as I'm aware, Paul Walker was an undercover cop trying to infiltrate a gang of street racers who were also robbing trucks with Honda Civics. It was basically Point Break with cars. It was exactly the same story as Point Break, featuring street racers instead of surfers. That's what it was. So I see that one. I'm like, okay. And I know that the second one, they were in Tokyo for some reason. No, they weren't. That was the third one. Too Fast, Too Furious? I don't know. Again, was just more Paul Walker, but Vin Diesel was too big for the franchise and left. And it wasn't until his career went completely down the toilet that he ran straight back to Fast and Furious. So when I watch that, that's what I'm expecting. I'm thinking, okay, street racers. Then I see the trailer in the cinema. I'm like, how are they now in a tank? Why are they in a tank? I'm like, why are they in Antarctica? Why are the military involved? How come they're in space? These were street racers that were robbing trucks. What happened? So I mean, it's quite a stretch to go from street racers to now all of a sudden there was that spin-off one with like the super soldier in it. And I'm like, I don't even know what's happening here. And that's a good thing because I don't care what's happening there. But if you like the Fast and Furious, all of those cars that appear in all those movies, you can get a miniature. And the one thing I cannot deny, is the cars in the Fast and Furious are absolutely beautiful. They are gorgeous. And me and Jackie did build, I think, 4 parts of the Dodge Charger, and that thing was beautiful. And I would have happily built a Dodge Charger and just fawned all over the Charger all day. Not because it's a Fast and Furious car, because that car was beautiful. We built that grille and that shiny bonnet, and come on, it was lovely. I do have a thing for American muscle cars. Random sports cars, not so much. American muscle cars, I'm all over. But it's a nice collection. These are nice detailed cars, and you will get, I don't know, all of them. You'll get Dom, I think his name is. You'll get whatever it was Paul Walker drove. You'll get the chick that can't look down, that one. You'll get the pink car. You'll get the one that Binky drove. You'll get the one that Tiddles drove. The one that Lofty and Pietro, and the one that Andre drove. I don't know who these people are, I'm making up names, but they might be in the movie, I don't know. But you'll get all those. You'll get the green one, the pink one, the orange one, the white one. As you can see, I'm not a fan, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I won't be collecting the Fast and Furious cars. Not because they're not good, because I have no interest in that franchise, none at all, and I won't do something I don't have an interest in. Coming up on the channel tomorrow, we do have something I do have an interest in. And that is this one. So that there is the Secure Denture Book Nook. Now that is the fourth in the original 2022 release of Row Life Book Nooks. I built the first three. You can see all three on the channel. They're all there. So that's Time Machine, Sunshine Town, and Magic something. Magic House. Magic House. So you can see those three up on the channel now. So I'm very much looking forward to building this fourth one. So the channel of the build will be up, and also the wiring. A lot of people have problems with the wiring. I'll explain how to do your wiring on these. It's not that complicated, but it is when the instructions don't have a fantastic translation, so sometimes you can get a little bit complicated. But it's a nice one. It's an absolute beauty. I've already taken a look at what's in there, and I think this one's going to be really good. So I'm looking forward to it. And then we will also be doing a video of all four, so you can see them all four together, and we'll talk about what we like about them, what we don't like about them, which one we think is the best one, which one we think is the worst one, which one we think is the best one for a beginner to build, and which one we think is the overall most enjoyable. We'll go, you know, full belt and braces on this one, and really get into them, because I love them. I love Row Life models. I absolutely love them, and I've got another one coming up on the channel as well. So I've got another Row Life model coming up, and it is this one. It's a bit of a weird one, this one, but it's this one. So we never built one of those before, but that's actually functional. So it's like one. It's kind of a weird mix. It's like the dioramas. It's like the little rooms, but it's a shop front essentially. But it's somewhere to hang my keys, because I lose my keys 5 or 6 times a week on average, because I'm a lazy guy. I come through the door and I just toss my keys somewhere and I don't know where they've gone. So I've got nothing to hang my keys on. Now I do. So I'm making one of those. We're going to hang that in a hallway, and we're going to put our keys on it. I like it. It's a model that's functional, so I can get away with it. My wife can't be that annoyed about it, because well, it was functional. I did it for the family, honestly. So that's what I'm doing. But it's a very cute one. I don't know what they're going to be like. It might suck. If it does, it does. But I will let you know. And again, we will put a video up of it on the channel. It lights up. It does all of the pretty things those Row Life models do. I've then got something coming up as well, which I hope is this week. I don't think it will. I think it'll be next week. But I've been after one of these for so long. When I first saw this was available, I tried to get one and couldn't, because they'd sold out. I was then told the only place I could get one was Disney World, right? Not the Disney store, Disney World. I had to go to Disney World to get one. Now, I wanted one. I didn't want one that bad. So just couldn't get it. So I kind of accepted defeat. I thought, well, I'm never going to get one. They're gone. But I've got one, and it's coming, and I didn't pay a lot for it, which is amazing as well, because these are sold out everywhere. But I've managed to get one, and it's this one. This is something. If you build a Disney Doll's house, you're going to dig this. This is what I'm building. Haunted Mansion. I'm so happy about this. There were 2 of these available. So that is Seance Room, and that's the only one I really wanted. There was another one called Attic, which you can get. It is still floating around, the Attic one, because it wasn't as popular as this one. Now, when I say build, there's very little to it. You build that room, and then the parts just go where they go. So it's only going to take about 5 minutes to put this together. But man, do I want it, and it's going to go on my shelf. And then what I'm going to do is, on my Disney Doll's house, I'm going to gut Donald's room. So in October, Donald's room is going to be gutted, and I'm turning Donald's room into the seance room for the Haunted Mansion for the duration of Halloween. I'm going to put lights and things in there. And it's Madame Leota. It's the crystal ball. Now, if you've been on the Haunted Mansion in Disney World, Madame Leota is what triggers the ghosts. When you first start to go through it, you see strange, creepy things, but the ghosts don't appear yet. It's not until you go into the attic in Madame Leota's room and she does her seance that the ghosts all wake up. So I really want that, and that was worth the money alone, just to get that piece. It's going to fit beautifully inside the doll's house. It all fits in, and it's going to look great. And when it's not in the doll's house, it's going to go back into its little diorama, and it's going to sit on the shelf. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm very happy about that. I might get the attic, because the attic, I can still get the attic, but it was this one that I wanted. It's the one with Madame Leota that I wanted, and I've got it, and I'm happy. So that will be coming up on the channel when it arrives. Now, it could be this week. I don't think it will be, but it could be. but I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be next week, which is fine. Next week as well, we should, touch wood, have parts 5 and 6 of the Tumblr, and it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot in this one, and it looks like we've got our first controversial piece of the build. I'm not worried about it. We'll talk about it when we get to it. Possibly Titanic will arrive next week. Possibly. I'm not convinced. I think it's going to be the early part of the week after, but Titanic could be here next weekend. But we'll wait and see on that one. What have we been watching? We've been watching two things. We've been watching The Last of Us, and again, I know I keep harping on about The Last of Us, but trust me, if you've not watched it, go and watch it. You'll learn something banging on about it. It's so good. And we just watched yet another gut punch heartbreaker episode. There's a theme here. It's not for, if you're looking for happy-go-lucky and feel good, The Last of Us ain't for you, because it's again got a very poignant, slightly upsetting episode in episode 7. But I'm absolutely loving this show. It's fantastic. They are knocking it out the park. I don't know how, but there's 7 episodes in. There hasn't been a bad episode. Each one of them plays like its own movie, and they are beautifully shot, beautifully acted. The story's fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. If you're not watching The Last of Us, you should be, because it's great. The other thing we watched was Yellow Jackets. I don't know if I've discussed Yellow Jackets or not, but we missed it on the first time round. So we binged the entire series of Yellow Jackets, which is a fantastic story, set 20 years ago, about a group of girls from high school who were a soccer team that crashed in the wilderness and were there for 19 months. But not every girl that crashed in the wilderness and survived came back from the wilderness, and it's set 20 years later where these stories get revealed. It's very good. I recommend that a lot. And I have just finished for the 3rd time The Sopranos, so it's the 3rd time I've watched it from start to finish. I went all the way through. I'd forgotten how bad the last series was, because it is bad. The last series lets it down. It just does. And everyone's going, no it doesn't. I'm like, oh, go back and watch it, and you'll remember we get 3 Kevin Finity episodes, 3 of those. That was a lot for the last series, wasn't it? But yeah, and then the ending. I've never been happy with the ending of Sopranos. I'm going to tell you what the ending is, right? So, spoilers. It was 20 years ago. You know, you should have watched it by now, surely. The end of the Sopranos, it just ends. So it looks like it's building up to the execution of Tony Soprano. And a door keeps opening, and you see these people at the bar who kind of look like they might be there to whack him. And then he's listening to Journey's Don't Stop Believing. And just as the song gets to Don't Stop, the screen goes black. And that's it. That's how it ends. And you're like, what the hell? Did they kill him or what? And they never tell you. Well, that's not true, because about 5 years ago, one of the creators of it, David Chase, confirmed that yes, Tony dies. That's what the cut to black is. Tony dies at that point. And he said that the reason why I didn't show it on screen was because he was concerned that everyone was baying for the character's blood and wanted to see him, face down on the table bleeding. I'm like, well, all right, I don't believe that. I believe why they didn't show his actual fate was because, again, much like Vin Diesel returning to the franchise that he thought he was too big for, I think full well these guys probably thought one day we might need the money. So let's leave the ending ambiguous so we can come back and make more. They do it too often, a bit like what's just happened with The Walking Dead. Let us never speak of The Walking Dead. I was very, very disappointed with how that ended. Other models coming up on the channel. R2-D2. I swear to you, R2-D2 is coming. I swear to you, Crochet is coming. Crochet was the perfect storm for me. I broke my wrist. My wrist started to feel better. I started crocheting again, realised my wrist was not fully healed. The repetitive injury of it could not do it. So after Christmas had passed, I was like, okay, now I think I'm ready. And my eyes failed, so I couldn't bloody see, so I couldn't do it. So I am now burning through the crochet. So I'm up to, I want to say, about 16. I've just not uploaded them yet, so I'm editing them as we speak, and I'm going to do just a blast. So these are going to fire out, and then we are going to be right up to where we were with the crochet. As I said, if I start a build, I'll tell you if I'm stopping it. And I'm not. So when it comes to the crochet, 100% I am still all in. The only one that we're doing at the moment, I'm not sure, is Age of Sigmar. I'm not sure, because I'm not one that plays it. The kid is, and he's not really playing it enough for me to commit to a full build. He's more into 40k, so Age of Sigmar is a bit unusual for him. So I'm not going to buy him for the sake of buying him. I've told him that. So we'll see how that one goes. We're going to pick up a few in the newsagent, and then if he's not on board, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it for the sake of buying it. That's not happening. But that's where we are. Ask Me Anything is coming up on the channel. That's going to be not this week, next week. So you've still got time to get a question in if you want to ask me anything at all. I'm happy to answer it. Just try and keep it clean. It is it's a family channel, and I'm happy. Thank you for all the questions so far. I've not been reading them. I can just sort of clock that there are questions, and then away they go. And then my wife's going to do it for us, so I don't know. So when I answer them, I'll be answering them blind. I don't want it to be rehearsed or anything like that. I just want to answer the questions, and that's what I'm doing. Someone asked me why don't I live stream. I don't live stream because the nature of what I do means that my phone rings all the time. Now, you're watching this go, I haven't heard your phone ring. You know any of those cuts? Yeah, typically my phone's ringing. Or I turn it off. So at the moment my phone's turned off because it's my time now. That's it. I know the moment I turn it on, you have 12 missed calls. That's the way it is. So I don't want to do a live stream because I don't want something to crop up which pulls me away from this. And then you're all sat there going, is that it? He was on for 10 minutes. So it's not practical for me to live stream. I will work it out and I will do it because people have been asking for it, and if that's what you want, that's what we'll do. But I've just got to work out the right timing for it. I really do, and we'll go from there. That is all from me. I've got no more news about the former Eagle Moss builds. Just that they're coming, and let's just be patient. They are coming. I can't tell you anymore, but that is what I get asked more than anything. When are the Eagle Moss? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It's worth swinging by Fanhome a couple of times a week and just seeing if there's an update. But to be honest with you, I don't think we're going to see parts till May. I think what's going to happen is the parts will start to ship in April, and you will see them in May. So hopefully Ecto 1 will be finished in June because it just needed the 2 left to go, but we'll see. The balloons are coming down. Because it's no longer Valentine's. I filmed this on the 28th of February, so that's why the balloons are still up. But as of the 1st of March, Love Month is over on the channel, and it's just business as usual. That's all. Thank you for stopping by. You can contact us at buildingwiththeboys@outlook.com, where you can submit questions to ask us anything. You can also send us pictures of your work, because we love seeing it. If you're happy for us to share it on the channel, we would love to share it on the channel and show people what you're up to as well. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And I really do mean that. Just be nice. And I will catch you very soon for Book Nook, Haunted Mansion, Titanic, Infinity Gauntlet, and all that good stuff. I'll see you then.